Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanam Sari Jamuna Tira Vanam Sari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanam Sari Jamuna Tira Vanam Sari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bolo. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Radha, Madhava Radha, Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha, Madhava Radha, Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Gaura Pimanandi. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pri Vṛtra Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charan Arvind Bhakti Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skan Vibhiti Founder Acharya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtana Ki Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jainitai Gaura Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Sharakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavam Sha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tvam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitam Scha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara, Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Praeshabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within our heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swaschayanam Mahat This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantharaj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Sarabhyaya Namaha Om Sarabhyaya Namaha Om Sarabhyaya Namaha Mukham karoti vasalam pangum langayate girim Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum dinataranam Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our morning daily Srimad Bhagavatam. Special welcome to Janmashtami Prabhu. Hare Krishna. You're very colorful today. So we are reading, which numbers on the board? 25 and 26. Both are there? 26. Okay. Yeah. Sa ahato vishva jita hi avagnaya paribramad gatra udasta lochanaha vishirna bahu angri siroruho patad yathā nagendro lulito nabhasvata sa ahato vishvajitaya vagnaya paribramada gatra udastalochanaha vishirna bhavangri suroruho patad yathā nagendro lulito nabhasvata saha hato vishvajita yavagnaya paribramada gatra udastalochanaha visirna bhavangri siroruho patad yathā nagendro lulito nabhasvata saha hato vishvajitaya vagnaya paribramada gatra udastalochanaha vishirna bhavagri siroruho patad yathā nagendro lulito nabhasvata. Mataji's. गुरु को परब्रह्मगत्र उदस्तलोचनः Saha, he, ahatah, having been struck, Vishvajita, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he, though, avagnaya, indifferently, paribhramat, wheeling, gatraha, body, udasta, bulged out, lochanaha, eyes, vishirna, broken, bahu, arms, angri, legs, shira ruha, hair, apatat, fell down, yathā, like Naga Indra, a gigantic tree, lulitaha, uprooted, nabhasvata, by the wind. Before reading the translation to 26 and purport, we will read 25, which does not have a purport. I'll just read the English translation. The demon now began to strike the Lord with his hard fists. But Lord Adhokṣaja slapped him in the root of the ear, even as Indra, the Lord of the Maruts, hit the demon Vṛtra. Oh, actually, it does have a purport. So I'll read the purport to 25. The Lord is explained here to be Adhokṣaja, beyond the reach of all material calculation. Akṣaja means the measurement of our senses, and Adhokṣaja means that which is beyond the measurement of our senses. Translation to and purport. by Srila Prabhupada to text number 26. Those struck indifferently by the Lord, the conqueror of all, the demon's body began to wheel. His eyeballs bulged out of their sockets. His arms and legs broken, and the hair on his head scattered. He fell down dead, like a gigantic tree uprooted by the wind. Kind of repeat after me. Though struck indifferently by the Lord, the conqueror of all, the demon's body began to wheel. His eyeballs bulged out of their sockets. His arms and legs broken, and the hair on his head scattered. He fell down dead, like a gigantic tree uprooted by the wind. Purport. It does not take even a moment for the Lord to kill any powerful demon, including Hiraṇyākṣa. The Lord could have killed him long before, but he allowed the demon to display the full extent of his magical feats. One may know that by magical feats, by scientific advancement of knowledge, or by material power, one cannot become the equal of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His one signal is sufficient to destroy all our attempts. His inconceivable power, as displayed here, is so strong that the demon, despite all his demoniac maneuvers, was killed by the Lord when the Lord desired, simply by one slap. So just a few things. One, of course, is in connection with the verse here that I want to speak on. And also, this week happens to be a special week in terms of festivals, especially one of the main festivals. Of course, coming up is Janmashtami, which, as we know, is followed by Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. And the devotees here in Mayapur naturally take advantage of these various festivals that take place during the year, and especially try to highlight, as is the case for this week, the special significance of our ISKCON founder, Acharya, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. So I've been asked to speak a little bit on this as well. And Janmashtami Prabhu is here to monitor me. Kind of. Also, before speaking on these two subject matters, I just want to share, I think most devotees are knowing, about the departure of a very dear servant of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, who just passed away yesterday in Hyderabad, Anandamoy Prabhu. Anandamoy Prabhu served Actually, many of you may not know him. I didn't know him for the first 15 years, I guess, of my devotional career, because I was here in Mayapur, and I only went to Hyderabad after many years, like in the early 90s. From the very beginning, he came to India. He was on morning walks with Srila Prabhupada. He was from France, French, un Français de la France. And he decided to completely dedicate himself, which he did, to the service of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and his society, ISKCON society, by taking up the printing of all the Telugu books. In those days, it was known as AP, Andhra Pradesh, which now is Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. But he published, I don't know, somebody should come out with some record, but hundreds and thousands of books, practically speaking, all of Srila Prabhupada's books. And he served from those early days when Prabhupada was physically present to yesterday. It's over, I believe, 53 years of non-stop, continuous service, very, very dedicated. I never worked with him closely, but whenever I would visit Hyderabad, and I was there just like a week ago and met him, he was very attached to being always present for the morning program, Mangalarti. Of course, in the last year, it was a major challenge for him. You know, when you get older, things happen, isn't it? Tell me about it. It'll happen to all of us. Prabhupada one time said, don't ever think this will not happen to you. Getting old and all of the wonderful things that come with old age. But a few days back when I was in Hyderabad, he was at the temple for the Bhagavatam class. I was giving the Bhagavatam class. He was there for the Guru Puja. And he could only walk with, one of those, I don't know what you call it, a walker, I suppose. Quite weak, but still extremely determined. And he would always, after the Guru Puja, as in most temples we do or are supposed to do, he would recite the Prabhupada, English version of the prayers to the spiritual master. So he served very wonderfully, and he was a scholar actually. He had a master's in something, and whenever he would give classes or meet different people, it would show. He was very well versed in the Shastra, a very eloquent speaker, and very determined actually to follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions. So the devotees had a ceremony for him, and his last rites were actually performed itself. I don't know the details of it all, but we should maybe all together recite the Hare Krishna Mahamantra at least once in honor of this great devotee. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Sri Prabhupada ki, Jai Anandamaya Prabhu ki, Hare Krishna. So now to this verse, it's kind of interesting and appropriate in the sense that these days in India, as you may know, the theaters across the country are jam-packed, or at least many of them, and seeing the pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadev, which someone commented how it's amazing, which is something being conveyed here also, that generally movie theaters are like in the mode of ignorance. They're mode of ignorance because to appreciate the movie you have to turn all the lights off, It's a dark place, but actually these theaters across India have become divine places because of the presence of this pastime of Lord Nrsimhadev, for those who may not know, probably everyone knows, but it's taken the whole of India by storm, so to speak. And in one of the purports similar to this one, when Srila Prabhupada is describing Lord Nrsimhadev fighting with Hiraṇyākṣa, similar kind of thing is taking place. Lord Nrsimhadev allowed Hiraṇyākṣa to actually battle with him for quite a long time. It was to such an extent that actually the demigods were becoming anxious and a little concerned, actually. They made a special prayer that, my dear Lord, you have been keeping us in suspension for a long time, kindly finish him off, which the Lord did, of course. And Prabhupada in one of those purports mentions that those demoniac elements, and the world today, of course, is filled with demoniac elements, those who are in positions of leadership especially, Prabhupada was making that point, should be very cautious and should take note of this particular pastime of Lord Nrsimhadev, which is similar to this pastime, where Lord Vṛtra, within, just by, in a nonchalant way, just the slapping behind the ears was enough to actually bring Hiraṇyākṣa actually to completely end the battle and to kill him. It shows and underlines, as mentioned in the verse, how inconceivable and how powerful, unlimitedly powerful is the Lord. We see actually this being displayed nowadays in so many calamities that are taking place on the planet. Whether it's through earthquakes or whether it is through volcanoes or tsunamis, etc. These are displays actually of the Lord's very powerful energies. So we should know that ultimately the devotees of the Lord, in facing all of these different calamities that are taking place, they are meant to be an incentive for us actually to take more and more shelter of the Lord, knowing that ultimately dharma will prevail, isn't it? Ultimately the Lord and His devotees will be victorious. We are living in very trying times, very challenging times all over the world. And we were just discussing, we're reading, where I'm staying here in Mayapur, in Nandigram, where we have one ashram, reading about Parikshit Maharaj and how he challenged, Kali, who was, this is 5,000 years ago, the beginning actually of the symptoms of Kali Yuga, where both Father Bull, the personification of Dharma, and Mother Bhumi, in the form of a cow, were being beaten rather by this person who was dressed artificially as a king. So we should know that actually, ultimately, although there are so many very difficult situations all over the world, and dharma is being threatened in so many ways, we simply have to stick to these instructions that are given in the Shastra and the various descriptions throughout the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. And this brings us to the need for all of us to actually more, I would say deeply, more fully, more deeply understand the vision given to us by our founder Acharya. And because I was requested to speak on Varnashram, I'll just say a few things that are directly in connection with how we are meant ultimately. We means as devotees, we means as a society also. Srila Prabhupada established this society. He established a GBC body as well, in keeping with the instructions received by his own spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because there's a need of a concerted effort to actually challenge the order of the day, which is actually going against the injunctions of Shastra. This is not an easy task. But one of the many statements given by our founder Acharya was that the day will come the day will come when historians will take note of this particular period in history that we're living, which Prabhupada describes as the darkest moments of history, and how ISKCON as a society, and how the teachings of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, and how the society will go down in history as saving humanity from its darkest moment in history by presenting this knowledge. And this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is containing very important instructions in connection with Varnashrama. And for those who may still not know or understand, Srila Prabhupada's vision was a four-phased vision, four-tier vision. I cannot say four-tier vision, four-level vision, whereby he understood even many years before leaving Bharat, before leaving India, Prabhupada was clear in how the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was meant to be established for the purpose of actually reintroducing, re-establishing the Vedic culture. And I've mentioned this many times, but I want to reintroduce this four-phase, we could say, mission. And mainly we have been focused, and we remain, I would say we remain overly focused in one sense when we look at the fourth phase. The first phase being distributing books and introducing the chanting of the holy name. Second phase being establishing wonderful temples, and of course one of our main objectives here in Sri Mayapur is to establish the Temple of Vedic Planetarium, which is a major, of course, and much needed project that Prabhupada wanted from the very beginning. The third phase being, which is probably one of the most prominent phases and has been for many years, congregational development within our ISKCON society. But we have yet to understand the potency and the power that is there, that is awaiting our movement, that is awaiting the devotees when we begin to give the kind of attention that is needed to introduce the fourth phase, which is Varnashram. Why? Because actually it is, Prabhupada gave us the clue also. Prabhupada gave us the four, we could say, educational kind of courses, beginning with Bhakti Shastri, isn't it? That was in the context of actually Brahmanas, you know, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, and Sarvabhauma, isn't it? Degrees. But Prabhupada wanted that we also introduce additional curriculum. Because sometimes devotees think that, no, this is all the curriculum Prabhupada spoke or gave, and that's it. But Prabhupada spoke about the need to introduce, in addition to what we call Brahmana culture, Kshatriya culture. In addition to Kshatriya culture, Vaishya culture, for which specific curriculum needs to be formulated, which up to now has not been done, actually. And it has not been done because we have not actually understood and introduced one of the very fundamental, important, essential, I would say, instructions in terms of establishing Varnashram colleges. The first of the 7 purposes, isn't it? As formulated by Srila Prabhupada. If somebody has that reference, they can read it. You have it? Great, read it. The word systematic is there.
Yes.
Go ahead.
To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world.
Yes, so this is one of the first 7 purposes as formulated and desired by our founder Acharya, to systematically introduce these teachings of the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And this includes, because in the Vedic culture, there are 4 sciences. And I find myself, unfortunately, having to repeat this often. But good things need to be repeated. Prabhupada would repeat all the time, you're not the body, we're not the body, because we need to hear it again and again and again, 3 times at least. So Vedic culture is based on what is called Chatur Vidya. Chatur Vidya, 4 eternal sciences. 4 eternal sciences that make up society. Beginning with what is called Anvikshiki, the science of philosophy, upon which we could say many of the foundational principles for Brahmanas are to be found. But not only the basic foundational principles for Brahmanas are found in Anvikshiki, but they're also there for Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, because they are the Dvijas, they are the natural leaders in society. So until and unless we train up these 3 categories of natural leaders in society, which only Varnashram College can actually do, because Varnashram College has that scope, has that vision, has that understanding of introducing systematically, scientifically, both spiritual and material knowledge. You see, our society is not meant to only give spiritual solutions. This is a very important point. That generally, I was much less aware of this than I am now. And I think it's becoming gradually more obvious, and it should be, that we as a society and the Vedic culture as a culture, as an eternal culture, is meant to give us not only the spiritual solutions to all the problems, but also the material solutions to all the problems. Because Vedic culture is giving us both spiritual knowledge, that we call Shruti Shastra, and material knowledge, that is called Smriti Shastra. So these 2 aspects of Dharma, that's why I was mentioning a little earlier, we need to really make an effort, a much more concerted effort to deeply understand Prabhupada's vision in introducing these 2 levels of Dharma. That is called spiritual Swadharma, the science of the soul, and material Swadharma, the science of how to utilize Krishna's material energy, how to interact with the material nature, which is actually all contained within the science of Daiva Varnashrama Dharma. Prabhupada mentioned, just to remind all of us, how this remains 50% of his mission, to introduce Daiva Varnashrama Dharma. And the longer we are kind of putting it back, then the more the more difficult it becomes actually in the world today, because we're not boldly, we're not clearly presenting the material solution. People need to hear both these aspects, both these levels of the solution. One of my godbrothers actually wrote a book. He wrote 2 books. He's one of the very early disciples of Srila Prabhupada. You probably know him, Dayananda. He wrote a book called The Perfect Society. And before that, he wrote another book called Solution. So solution needs to be, the solution to the ills and the problems of modern day society need to be on these 2 levels, on the spiritual level and on the material level, because our Vedic culture contains all the perfect knowledge on the spiritual level, which is culminating in bhakti, devotional service to Krishna, and it contains all the material perfect knowledge as well in terms of varnashrama dharma. We need to understand this, otherwise we will have or continue to have an imbalance in terms of how we can properly address the ills and problems of society today. We're developing here in Mayapur since a number of years now, a group of devotees, what is called, Vaishnav Resource Center, trying to address, varnashrama issue, which is meant to be actually everyone's concern and issue as well, because it's part of the overall solution. It's a major subject matter, of course. Anything that's 50% of anything is of major significance, or should be. So there's maybe 2.5 minutes for any comments or questions that might be there, because there's a sign somewhere, it's been flipped over, that you should promptly end at 9 o'clock. Yes, microphone, yes.
We're anxiously awaiting, when will the course be launched?
When will we?
Course.
Oh, well actually we started already 2 years ago, every Kartik, for your information, every Kartik, and I thank you for the plug I can give now. It'll be the very first day of Kartik this year. We've been holding it since 2023. We have short-term courses that go for 2 months. And in terms of the full-fledged Varnashram College, we just recently formulated the curriculum. That was a big thing. You know very well, but Janmashtami Prabhu is the master of curriculum, actually having set up Mayapur Institute. So yes, curriculum was one thing that was holding us back, and so we're getting closer to actually launching things, and we can expect, and you'll be the first one to know, something more concrete in the weeks and months to come. Hare Krishna.
So we'll sign up everybody here to attend.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice class. I just wanted to get your view, because you mentioned that we're meant to be providing material solution as well. But I've sometimes heard that there cannot be a material solution to a material problem. So if you can just shed your some
You're
light
saying
on
there
that.
cannot be material solutions to the problems of life.
To material problems.
Huh?
I've heard that. I've heard other speakers say there cannot be a material solution to material problems.
Yes.
So if you shared your view on what material solutions we're meant to provide as a society.
Yeah. Well, very briefly, the material solutions actually is what the Vedic culture teaches us in terms of lifestyle, which is agrarian lifestyle. One of the major problems since the last 200 years is that society has deviated, and therefore we have become more and more urbanized. That's one of the major problems actually, because we're disconnecting with our roots. Our roots are actually in terms of cows and land. These are the 3 gifts of nature. So It's a whole re-education, it's a whole redirection of society that is needed. And that's why Prabhupada wanted us to spend time in villages, wanted us to revive the Vedic village culture, which is a cow-based culture, where the natural, what we call prescribed duties, there are Vedic prescribed duties which are unknown to most of our devotees. Those prescribed duties are in connection with villages, at natural agriculture, etc. You know, the science of economy, the science of governance, and the science of education today is meant to be especially lived and experienced in villages. We are totally ignorant, unfortunately. The majority of our devotees, I dare say, it is unfortunate, but it's the reality, are totally ignorant of what is actually Vedic education and what is Vedic economy. Because Vedic education is connected with the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram when they every day go out and take the cows. That is actually the kind of education that is meant for the majority of our boys. That's besides the formal education which is there in Gurukul. So it's a big topic, but I'm just giving a little idea of some of the things that is part of material solutions. When I say material solution, it doesn't mean that we put an end to birth, death, old age and disease, but living that way is the easiest way and the quickest way to actually put an end to those problems of life. Yeah. I think I have to close here before somebody sends me a note. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna.